So without any further ado, I invite my good friend Nitin up on stage too. And I'm secretly hoping there are no more Johnite poses.
The batch of 2014 has decided that medicine in emergency needs to be closer. So I think William and me would have to share one mic, and that might lead to a bit of awkward scene. So, yeah. So anyway, a very good evening, respected wizards, witches, quips, muggles, and he who shall not be named. Lend me your wands and spells for... Okay. Look, I couldn't write the speech properly because I was stuck in the hospital till 10 p.m. because of just one person, Yusuf, because he just did not come and see my reference till 10 p.m. I'm sorry. So, it's been an incredible 3 years since we set our foot in this great institution as postgraduates. As William mentioned, it's a bit nostalgic that a few of us are standing here for our second farewell. And someone just asked me, at least now will you leave St. John's? So, I really don't have the answer to that. But today the task of giving the PG response speech has been an honor and yet bit of a burden because we represent a diverse range of people, a diverse set of departments, including the super specialty ones. So what better way than to recapitulate the 3 years in the form of 7 books. 7 books by J.K. Rowling. We will start off with Johnite PG and the Philosopher's Stone. It was a journey that began in Platform CG Hall, when all of us assembled wide-eyed with a sense of accomplishment that we had made it, cracked and conquered those horrible multiple choice entrance exams, the sense of relief, the dark days had come to an end. That's what we believed. But then the first year went by in a blur. Now when I say a blur, I mean it was literally a blur because there was no time to sleep. What had a Johnite PG had to do in first year? Be prepared for 20 admissions in one night, take cases with perfect inspection, palpation, percussion, auscultation, follow-up reports, be up to date with latest guidelines, make sure USG CT scans are fixed on time, report all patient status to your senior PGs, get references done, make sure the elusive phone call is picked up by blood bank for that 1 pint PC, learn Telugu for the 4 a.m. bus from Madanapalli with platelets Tagindi, and of course, if there is time, to have bath once in 48 hours. But for some of us, it was 72 hours. I won't mention who. First year was about Philosopher's Stone, the quest for adaptation and time. The radiology PGs needed magical spells to help them in dark adaptation, like Varun and Arul, whom you will see in the next slide. This is how it helped them to report ultrasounds. The dermat PGs spent time adapting to look cosmetically perfect. Surgery PGs practice the art of getting their consultant gestures right. Correct na, Dr. Saab? Medicine PGs learn the art of going through long OPD folders just to search which unit had seen the patient first to transfer out. Community medicine PGs learn the art of dressing according to community to administer their knowledge, attitude, and practice questionnaires. Of course, Rakesh substituted as also a blind person so that people would take sympathy and donate to the department. Pharmac PGs, they learn the art of presiding over tables like they were CEOs of pharmac companies and they have invented the best drug trial in the history of mankind. Anesthetist PGs needed spells outside the OT to adjust their body temperatures from the freezing cold of OT. And remember, anesthetists are very, very punctual with their coffee breaks. OPG PGs, on the other hand, learned how to make baby faces when they delivered. And psychiatry PGs just experimented with some words of delirium or dementia we really can't figure out. They just put themselves with haloperidol and started saying goo goo gaga goo goo. Oh, not that the ones in college had any better, with innumerable presentations, collections which can be made into a moribund book, teaching seminars, demonstrations and tutorials, synopsis presentations, and 100 more slides, plates and plates of microorganism. But then again, there was rarity among them. Just before coming yesterday, I asked one of the, I won't mention who, can you tell me one of your most memorable experiences in first year in college? He told me, I can't tell you my memorable first year experience in college, but if you want in Bangalore, I'll tell you what my memorable experience was. So that just shows how his life was in college. We move on to the end of first year and we discovered our chamber of secrets. As Johnite PGs, we had our own chamber of secrets. The most recent chamber of secrets that we discovered was for many years a mystical place. A place that you would hear only tales about. A place that no man had set his foot ever, at least officially. A place heavily guarded by the dementors of Azkaban. We have broken the barrier and gone where no man has ever gone before. Nirmala Block. Yes, the ever-expanding Hogwarts John's campus ensured that we moved to Nirmala Block in our final year, and they put the first year PGs also there, and history was rewritten. You know, there was some sense of coolness, you know, when they asked us, hey macha, which hostel block? B top macha, B top. Come to C ground, dude, we'll chill out there in C ground. But now when they ask us to fill that forms, it feels a bit strange to say I am from Nirmala Block. I hope you understand what we are going through right now. I really hope that whoever is the authorities just tweak it a bit and do another baptism to Nirmal Block at least. That would sound better. The other chamber of secrets, the one that helped us get through double duties, made sure that the number of tasks thrown at us would be possible, made examining 100 slides for a peripheral smear easy, or recapitulating the demographic details of Madanali, Begur, Muglur and all. Yes, according to the great Merlin and the book of fantastic PGs and where to find them, the amount of food is directly proportional to the work that the PG has. On behalf of all my fellow PGs, I would like to thank the following for ensuring that our 3 years, we didn't starve anymore. Not to forget the logo that we did not put, but that always in our heart, the Johnite mess. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, sometimes when it remained open or we had money, we would eat here also. There are more chamber of secrets, deep dark ones, but I'll open the locks of only a few. There was a co-PG who goes by the name of Quick Gun Murugan. With 20 admissions, he decided to do a neurology examination and went to the patient. But the patient also had neurological bladder and had to answer nature calls. And so when he came back, Quick Gun Murugan was lying on the table cot and sleeping. And the patient, out of sincere sympathy to the doctor, did not wake him up and also decided to sleep. 2 hours went by. Quick Gun Murugan had the differential diagnosis in his mind, and it was only when the staff nurse woke him up did he realize that forget the Panta, not even the name of the patient was asked. Of course, there are some problems which occur when 2 patients who go on the same bed next to each other. Unfortunately, the wrong one underwent the PR. Perhaps the PGs just epitomized what one of their consultants says. मैं PR भी करूँगा, प्यार भी करूँगा, और प्यार से PR भी करूँगा. And of course, I heard sometimes we have to listen to very enthusiastic professors who sometimes when they talk about mechanical ventilation, give a detailed graphic explanation. When the air goes in, the lung inflates. When the air comes out, you expire. Similar mechanics happen in the ventilation. You see, when I was in London also, when the ventilator was like this, when the air goes in, the lungs get inflated. These are some of the chamber of secrets that we had. But it was time for Prisoner of Azkaban, which William will talk about.
You have to share the mic.
Okay, now it works.
I think this is... Yeah, okay, I would have gone without that too. Just a quick question for Nitin. They happen to take a picture of the canteen. I'm wondering if they charged for that also. So moving on. So I think the third one is pretty apt. But the only thing which I'm going to change here is going to be the prisoner of the Johnite mentality. So of something which Nitin has quite very well encapsulated, shows the life of a first year PG who's very harassed, suppressed, compressed, depressed, and all the other S you can add to it. Any of your professors asking you routine questions like, you know, the simple ones which you should know, like tell me 100 causes of pallor. And the first answer which will pop out of a second year PG, the first year is going to go, guy's going to probably be going like anemia and anemia, and your second year is going to be lymphoangiosarcoma of the kidney. And very confidently he's going to rat it out saying that, oh, no sir, I read it in a paper. And you have this air of confidence and your face is very upright and no one's really going to question what you're saying. And it's only when you come out, it's like, dude, which paper was it? Bangalore Times. So those are the only ones that we've read. So I'm going to hand over the mic again to Nitin, who takes you through the Goblet of Fire.
No, this works. Yeah, so. Okay. The Goblet of Fire is a very special book in the Harry Potter series because of the Triwizard Tournament and the involvement of number of characters with different origins in a single book. Our batch of PGs was a special one, and I feel proud in view of the sheer camaraderie we shared, in terms of the interdepartmental camaraderie we had. And in fact, I'm very proud that, believe me, this is my 10th year in St. John's. I have not seen this many number of PGs turn up for farewell, and I think we need to give a big round of applause for sticking together like this. Be it camps or academic events or hanging out with each other, we probably had the most number of interactions as a PG unit as a whole. Whenever we faced issues or wanted information or post random messages on WhatsApp, for example, Trina asks, what is the status of the thesis? Yusuf goes and replies, May Tera something. See, no one can understand what Yusuf says because Yusuf is the most entertaining person we have in our PG. So our WhatsApp group was the refuge whenever we were depressed, whenever we were happy, whenever we were sad. Our WhatsApp group was a refuge. As Johnite PGs, perhaps the one thing that we are grateful to the institution and our respective departments is the focus and encouragement given to attend conferences. In the far, far world of Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Bijapur, the number of conferences gave us an opportunity to excel and show the academic prowess that we have. And I'm not kidding, if we were to take the number of prizes that we have won in poster and platform in our PG batch, I think it would be in the top 10 in the country, and that is no joking. But of course, conferences were also a time to enjoy when there were boring sessions and to bond, because really, I didn't know Noble existed because he was always on male side and I was on private side till we went to Capricorn together. So what these conferences achieved was bringing out a psychological disorder amongst a few of us known as selfie addiction. The amount of selfie pics, sometimes people got so enamored that they requested 6 of their co-PGs to take one photo of theirs, used to be at the rate of 100 per day. But for some, they tried to cover it up. Jomi, for example, mentioned his height was the factor which made people exploit him to take selfies. Can we have some photos of Jomi with the selfies? He even decided to take a selfie with Amir Khan thinking it was the real Amir Khan. Just didn't go to Oftal for a checkup there. Now this is where the speech is going to get a bit boastful. Yes, that's Jomi using his length to take a selfie in the mess. Now this is where the speech is going to get a bit boastful. Talking about the Triwizard Tournament, we PGs had our own Triwizard Tournament in St. John's called the ICS. And make no mistake about it, when it comes to ICS, we are the most potent force. The benchmark to beat, year after year, beat volleyball, football, cricket, athletics, name it. The PGs are the benchmark to beat. Yes, UGs, you can clap for that. But at the end of our first year, we decided to spread our horizon and take part in ICC 2. And boy, was it an experience. Participating in fashion show with the last minute theme which occurred 24 hours before. And you can go back and check the statistics. Any event that we PGs took part in, we managed to come back with a prize. Now that led us to few of us thinking that if we were to come out of our cultural requirement, maybe we would have won the ICC overalls that year also. But then, we PGs are trained in the art of anticipation. So we knew that 2012 would not spend their final year wasting weeks and weeks of practice to put up. So we decided to let them win in their third year and not take part in cultural events. We come to the Order of Phoenix, a rare order.
So when you think of the Phoenix, so I'm going to take this as a two-pronged approach. The first one is going to be the non-controversial one. I'll come to the controversial in a little while. So when you think of the phoenix, you're thinking of this mystical creature which rises up from the ashes of the dirty earth and springs to life like an amazing creature. The opposite end of the spectrums are the super specialty PGs, who usually, are trained in working as SRs or assistant professors outside, but drag themselves down back into the PG life for another 3-year grind. So if you have the next slide coming in, you'll see a very, very, very aesthetically pleasing plastic surgeons like Dr. Mayur and Dr. Neeta, who have a lot of fun to work with. You have Dr. Krishnamurthy, who has not been able to make it today. The next slide shows you Andhra Pradesh's favorite son, Dr. Vishnu Vardhan Reddy, who already has references coming to his name as a student. You have Dr. Srinidhi, the ever-pleasing, never to say no to references. He's already taking a phone call right now. I'm coming for references. I'm just going to come back. And you have Dr. Sajish, whose smile always gives me the appeal that he's always up to some mischief, isn't it? Moving on, the other aspect of Order of Phoenix could be the Phoenix, which usually comes to life, always portrays happiness and joy for all of this, or for all of them who are concerned. However, for us, the suppressed and the oppressed PGs, the only thing which came back to life, which was a little more larger in amount, something which we did not expect, came during the middle of our course. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Just a disclaimer here. This part of the speech
was given by Nitin Yashas.
Is exclusively William's opinion and does not reflect the opinion of the rest of the PGs.
So since you figured out it was the fees, I'm just not going to talk about it further. So moving on, the Half-Blood Prince. So we've, like Nitin very clearly mentioned, that the first year PGs don't often get a time to take bath, and they're not very clean, and that kind of explains the smell over here. So we're looking at these oppressed PGs who really give the sympathetic approach that you don't feel like asking them questions. However, it's not like that in real. On the same hand, they have the other life which they're living. A life. Can I have the pictures coming up, please? So you have Eben over here, who's you look at him and Angelina Jolie is getting a complex right now. You have Jason, who's worried because Dr. Isaac's going to be asking him ortho, and he's still figuring out the answer of that. Tara is trying to rekindle some of her old memories of piano playing lessons. That's Roshan in red, and I have no idea what he's doing. You have Shrivali. Oh, Shrivali is still sitting in Sister Christina, and there was a time in first year when she used to spend most of the time with the religious, praying and being the humble, quiet little girl that we thought she was. And then you have the Johnite legend in Arun Jude and his good pal Vinod Paul. However, along with this, they led a different second life, a life which was online, which came to life with Chavra Matrimonial and Christian Matrimonial and Bharat Matrimonial. And you have Eben, who has found his Angelina Jolie. Jason seems to have found all the answers of his life right now. You have Tara, who's finally managed to find someone taller than her, just a little bit. You have Roshan, who I think now has figured out what he wants to do in life. You have Shrivali, now look at this. So from the religious, she's gone to this. And we have VP with wine in hand with women by his side. What more can anyone ask for?
We had Rowan, who's working at international peace and sustaining Indian-French relationships. We move on to the last part, JPG and the Deathly Hallows. In other words, our thesis. The holy grail that we struggle to finish right from first year. Actually, from final year. We faced many obstacles along the way, such as statisticians, laziness, procrastination, demands from guide, co-guide. Right now, I don't think I should talk about that because my guide is sitting in front of me and I should have emailed my thesis 30 minutes before. So, but anyways, we received a shocker about 15-20 days back. Completed in every respect to the academic section on or before 20th September without fail. No correction, addition, deletion will be entertained after submission. Now I know how Harry felt when Dumbledore abandoned him. This is how we felt when the college sends you a notice within 10 days. But then, something magical happened. Something out of the ordinary. The batch of 2014 decided to conduct a Harry Potter themed farewell and announced the farewell date. And believe it or not, I don't know why, surprisingly,